if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to pick up the phone and phone a friend and be like, hey, I need some help on something, you know that that is not the time to be building your friendship with them. And this is really the concept behind diplomacy and foreign relations when you get to the federal government level. This concept really, I think, came home to roost this week for Justin Trudeau in the context of Canada's relationship with the Indian government under Prime Minister Trudeau and Canada's current vaccine shortage that Justin Trudeau has overseen. So, not to belabor the point that I've made in other videos, but for those of you who don't know, Canada is facing a massive vaccine shortage right now. We're behind virtually every other developed country in the world in terms of getting vaccines to Canada and getting them to you for COVID. And this is largely because of a variety of factors that Trudeau was responsible for overseeing. So for example, Justin Trudeau decided to sign a contract with a Chinese company that fell through. That made us late to the table to negotiate with companies like Pfizer and Moderna. We're seeing big shortages on that. And also Trudeau didn't take any concrete action to build up manufacturing capacity within Canada for these new vaccines, which means that we're entirely dependent on other countries to deliver vaccine to Canada. Now, why is India so important in this? Well, outside of being one of the world's largest democracies, India also produces a significant portion of the world's vaccines. So if we're largely dependent on other countries for this vaccine right now, and every other country in the world wants it, you kind of have to phone somebody up that's in charge and ask for a favor, right? Now, I wanted to know if Justin Trudeau had picked up the phone, given the shortages that he's overseen, and actually called Prime Minister Modi in India and said, hey, kind of in a bit of a pickle here. Do you think you guys could help us out? I asked the procurement minister, Trudeau's right hand, who's in charge of securing vaccines for Canada, if she had called the Indian government, and then if she knew if Trudeau had called him himself. Watch what she had to say.
Has the minister or the prime minister phoned Prime Minister Modi to ask if we could get vaccines from India?
Well, thank you for that question. I am in regular communication with organizations and countries around the world to secure doses of additional vaccines. Thank you.
Have we phoned Prime Minister Modi?
I personally have not phoned Prime Minister Modi, and I can't speak for anyone else in our government. Thank you.
Does the minister know if the Prime Minister has reached out to the Indian government?
I do not know. Thank you.
She doesn't know. That's frightening.
Yikes. So as of Friday, when I asked that question, the person in Canada who's responsible for securing vaccines for Canada hadn't picked up the phone to the leader of the world's largest democracy that also happens to be the country that produces most of the world's vaccines. That is pretty frightening. She also didn't know if Trudeau had called him, and it turned out that he hadn't. Now, you might be wondering, why did Justin Trudeau not call Modi? I mean, it's a good question. Not sure. I mean, you guys all remember his disastrous trip to India in 2018. Again, it's going back to that principle of you don't want to be building a relationship with someone when you're calling to ask a favor. Now, many of you will call me and ask, Michelle, what are you doing to get us vaccines? What are you doing to help? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do more. Well, this is a good example of when opposition parties ask questions and push hard, we get results. So this clip of me asking the procurement minister went viral, and today I just want to say that Justin Trudeau did end up calling Prime Minister Modi, and I want to thank Prime Minister Modi and the Indian government for taking our call. Hopefully this does result in some more vaccines for Canadians, because look, I want the Liberals to succeed. I want us to be able to get out of the pandemic, and there are other tools that we need to use for sure. There's a lot more work to do beyond just the vaccines in this situation, but Justin Trudeau, I hope, learns a lesson out of this, that we should be leveraging contacts around the world to try and get us more supply of vaccines, but also that it's important to build relationships during peacetime so that when you need to call and ask a favor, those calls are received. Working hard for you in Calgary. Have a great day.